100 years ago, if you wanted to understand a village, you'd look at what it was built around: the church, the green, the pub. Today, if you want to understand what has actually happened to English identity, you don't need a history book. You need 10 symptoms, 10 patterns you can see on your own street, in your own week, in your own family. Today, I'm walking through the 10 things that quietly killed English community and what's left to do about it. Let's start with one you can see from space. The first thing is the ground itself, the way we physically built this country in the last 50 years. The old English village was built around a centre, the church, the pub, the green. Everything pointed inwards, towards shared space. Walk through a modern housing estate and it's the opposite. It's built around the car. The street plan exists to move you from your house to your work and back into your house to sleep, with nothing in between. There's no green to cross, no natural place to linger. It isn't by accident, it's a design choice, and the choice was made without you. You are physically prevented by the layout of the street from ever running into your neighbour. The second thing is psychological, and it follows directly from the first. When you know, really know, in your bones that the person next door will probably move in the next 2 years, something in you switches off. Investment in the people around you drops to zero. Because why would you build something with somebody who's already halfway out the door? You don't plant a tree in a place you're just passing through. And when the entire street is full of people who all think of themselves as just passing through, nobody plants anything. Not trees, not friendships, and not roots. Third, the thing is in your pocket right now. We built what we call digital parishes. Discord servers, WhatsApp groups, social media echo chambers, places where we talk to people hundreds of miles away in real time, while the man living 10 feet behind our garden fence remains a total stranger. It feels like community. It gives you just enough social simulation that you'll never feel the pull to actually knock on the door, but it's a simulation, and a simulation asks nothing of you. Real neighbourliness takes effort. This doesn't. That's exactly the problem. Fourth, the loss of the elder. The traditional village had a hierarchy of experience. The local craftsman, the farmer, the vicar, the elders who carried the collective memory of their place in their heads. That knowledge was hard won and specific to where you actually lived. Now it's bypassed entirely. You don't ask the man who's farmed the same land for 40 years. We ask a stranger on the internet with better lighting and no idea what our soil, our weather, or our community is actually like. We've traded local wisdom for distant influence, and we're worse off for it. Fifth, the flattening of everything local. Regional dialects, local festivals, local food, local trade, all of it slowly replaced by a bland, nationalised consumer culture. The same coffee chain, the same foam shop, the same beige high street, whether you're in Cornwall or Cumbria. When everyone eats the same food, watches the same shows, and shops at the same three retailers, there's no local left worth defending, because there's no local left at all. Sixth, the fence. The old village had the common, land that belonged to everyone, shared by understanding as much by law. Today, everything is private, fenced, and increasingly surveyed. The legal and social framework we built prioritises individual rights over the collective health of the community every single time. You can own more square footage than any Englishman in history and still have less common ground than the medieval peasant. Seventh, and I feel this one most personally, when you remove the Christian faith from the centre of the village, you don't get a natural space, you get a vacuum, and vacuums get filled. In England, that vacuum has been filled by the state, acting as a surrogate partner and provider, and by consumerism, acting as a surrogate source of meaning. The steeple wasn't decoration, It was a daily reminder that your life had a purpose beyond the economy. Take that away, and your loyalty quietly shifts from your neighbour to bureaucracy. That shift is the whole story of modern Britain in one sentence. Eighth, the commute. Millions of people spend hours a day trapped in traffic or crammed on a train, moving between two places they don't actually belong to. The commute is the engine of fragmentation. It separates the worker from the father, the citizen from the neighbour, and the person from the parish he technically lives in, but is never actually present in. You can't build community from a train carriage. Ninth, duty. There's been a quiet shift in this country from what do I owe my neighbour to what am I entitled to. Duty was the glue that held the village together. It forced you to show up, to help, to be present, whenever you feel like it or not. Replace duty with a purely transactional relationship, with the state, with an insurance policy, with a subscription service, and community becomes structurally impossible. You can't buy community with tax balance. It has to be earned through service and through presence, or it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist at all. And that brings me to my 10th point, which isn't really a symptom, it's the response. I don't think the death of the village is a tragedy to sit around and mourn. I think it's a clarifying moment, because here's the thing, none of the 9 points before this one describe something that's gone forever. They describe something that's been neglected. The church is still standing. The green is still under the car park. In principle, if not in practice, the neighbour is still on the other side of the fence, whether you've spoken to him or not. Nothing about what we lost was inevitable, and nothing about getting it back is impossible. It's just been left to rot because it was easier to let it. So the responsibility falls to whoever's willing to stop treating that as normal, not to invent something new instead, but to go back and actually tend to what's already been there. The same church, the same street, the same neighbour, until it looks like where it used to be again. So that's a list. 10 points, 1 diagnosis. The architecture that isolates us. The digital substitute that fakes connections without asking any of us. The elders we no longer consult. The local customs we've let go bland. The commons we fenced off. The faith we've let go dark. The commute that fragments our days. The duty we've replaced with entitlement. And the remnant quietly deciding to do something about it anyway. None of these 10 things happened by accident, and none of them are going to fix themselves, but they're actually not 10 separate problems. They're one problem wearing 10 different outfits, which is oddly good news, because it means you don't need 10 solutions, you need one decision repeated to be actually where you are instead of just passing through it. Whatever that looks like for you, that's the part I can't script.